So today I'm having conversations with Aramide. Recently, it was trending on Twitter. A lot of people were rallying around her to get her to Harvard University. But beyond that, she's involved in a lot of things. And right now, during the pandemic, it's actually important for us, all of us, to lend a voice as regards education. So how's your life been? All the conversations around your name, people coming to your page, new people reaching out to you and just admiring you and just putting the responsibility of putting that responsibility to be the voice of education, to be the voice of Nigeria on you. How's that been?
It has been such a wonderful experience. Have had the opportunity to meet new people. I've even had partnerships go on in the process for the work that I do at Talent Mine. And I think it has actually been a really exciting journey.
Of the day, representation is key, and now you're going to Harvard University, and everybody, because I feel like because a lot of people contributed to make this a success for you, which was really important for you. But a lot of people want to see you be that voice of Nigeria, want to see you represent Nigeria, want to see you put Nigeria on the map. Do you feel any form of pressure with that?
Right. So I definitely feel pressured. But I think that this is what I've always wanted to do. So I don't feel like there's a shift in my plans because of what you are saying. Right. It has always been my dream. It has always been my dream to change the way the Nigerian education system is. And for me, that's like literally everything I want to do at the moment and even in with my future. And so I feel pressured because everybody keeps on like sending me DMs, blah blah blah. But I don't feel too pressured because this is what I've always wanted to do.
I like how you said it's always been your purpose to change the Nigerian educational system. So, what are some of the woes you've seen, you've noticed in the educational system that you want to change? I had a conversation with someone who said, right now there's that inequality. This pandemic has revealed the
Yeah.
inequality in the educational
Hmm.
system. So, what are some
Yeah.
of the things that you feel are wrong with our educational system that you'd like to change?
So there are a lot of things that are wrong. And I got to know about it 3 years ago when I read about, so it became much more obvious when I read about Finland's education system and that of Japan as well. And there
What
was
about
such, and there was such a huge difference. And this pandemic basically just showed us how bad our education system is. First of all, there's a digital divide. There are select few who have access to technology and who have access to laptops and phones and all that. And then there are some other people who cannot, because they cannot afford it. So they do not have access to it. And then there's an issue with, oh, these children can get quality education. These
Mhm.
children can learn and even apply what they've learned. Right? These children can learn in diverse ways. And then this other set of children cannot do so. Why? Because of their background. So we have an education system where the womb that births you now dictates, the kind of education that you get. And I think there's a problem with that because when I studied the Finland education, everybody, no matter who or from whom you are from, you have access to quality education, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Another issue with the education system is funding. So there's literally like no funding, like literally. And according to UNESCO, every country is not supposed to go below a 26% budget for their education budget. But then in Nigeria, we're way below that 26%. And also another issue is teacher quality. So there's an issue with the quality of the teachers in Nigeria, right? Is like there's no really access to professional development. I was talking to my friend last week. He runs a business where he runs an organization where they train teachers, and then he was telling me that a particular teacher had to come down to Lagos at Ajao Estate. The teacher had to come from Badagry to come for that trip, And for me, there's an issue with that already, because why can't this teacher access training in Badagry, right?
Or
So
even
there's an
online.
Yes, yes. So there's a dearth of teacher quality in Nigeria. So there are a lot of issues, like there are a lot of issues with our education system, even with our youth population. We can't harness the potentials of the youth because
Mm.
there's a foundational issue with the education system. The reason why I do what I do is because I've been really privileged to access quality education. And I
Mm.
believe if other people can access this quality education, especially children, get them while they are young, right? If other people can access the same quality education and even much more than I got, I believe they will do even much more than I've done.
Here, access to quality education. So, but first, let's talk about partnerships. So you mentioned when the interview started, you said you've been some people have reached out as regards partnership. So, how important is partnership? Be it um, government and this bodies, government and this educational bodies partnership, or person and organizational partnerships in education.
Okay, so I believe that, you know, just like it is, we're all wired to work together. God didn't create a crowd, or God didn't create every single one of us to just be an island of knowledge. And no, not everybody individually do not know everything, right? So we need to work with one another. We need to, I get from you, you get from me, and then it gets better. And that's the way we are going to move forward as a country, as people, as organizations. It's just like someone starts an organization and then you say that, oh, in this organization, I'm going to be the accountant, the cleaner, the cashier, the this, the that, the this. You're not going to literally move forward. You're going to be in one position for a year. And I mean, you don't spend 10 decades, in that same position. But things work and things move because people come together. They share their responsibilities and all that. They share it together, and different minds, different brains, and different things on the table. And when different things are put together, it makes much, right? It makes everything big. And that's why partnerships and collaborations is very, very, very important. I know that even as much as I want to teach my kids, the kids that I teach, I want to give them the best, right? I knew that if I wanted to motivate them, because I'm not from their, like, I was privileged to come from a family that is well to do, so I might not be
Mm-hmm.
able to put myself in shoes. So collaboration comes in when I reach out to someone that I know that, oh, this person grew up here and he can relate to what these children are going through at the moment, right? Collaboration comes in when I call that guy and tells him, oh, please, can you talk to my kids, inspire them? And then I see my kids moving forward. There's results. And for me, that's it.
A lot of people were rallying around you when they were trying to get these monies, this $68,000 before deadline, which was May 22nd, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of people were a lot of people asking that question: Why Harvard education? Why Harvard? We have you went to Covenant University, but then there are other schools in Nigeria who that some people would tag as it is good. So, but why the decision to for Harvard education? Yes.
I believe that you cannot make so much change in a place if you don't see how things are done outside. That one cannot make so much
Mm-hmm.
change in a particular place if you're just in that place, because everything you're going to be seeing is the way things are done in that place. But like I said before, when I knew that there
Mm.
was a problem with the Nigerian education system, there was a big problem, was when after I studied the education system of Finland and Japan. And because I'd gone outside of my country, that was how I was able to know that, oh, there's a problem in my country. And I believe that if I want to solve the problem in my own country, right, I need to get another perspective, literally. I need to get diverse perspective, diverse ways of things being done elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that things are working. So okay, let's say from what you see, that we have schools in the US where their education their education school or their schools, things are working there. And I believe that, if I have access to such experience there, such expertise, such skills, even the network, right? I can come here and even do more. So even with the little that I know in Nigeria, right? I've been able to do like quite a number. But what if I go and come back? I believe that I will do more because I know more. And there's something that's working there that they have to make it work in their own organization as well. And because I know my school has to work, and that's why I'm going out there to get things that will make my own school work. Because I know that I cannot get it in Nigeria. So I need to go outside to see how things are done and then bring it back in. So that's literally my own plan.
I like the motive, but how's this impacted? I like when you mentioned your kids, your school. How's this impact kids during this pandemic? Because I know that you usually schedule classes for them Saturdays. So how this impacts your kids, and how has the pandemic impacted how you interact with these kids?
So it has really affected us. So like I said initially, there are select few who have access to technology and technological devices, and that's where the digital gap comes in, right? So the kind of kids that I teach, their parents do not have smartphones. It's just one of them that our grandma has a
Yeah.
smartphone. Just one out of all those kids, right? So there's no way that learning is going to take place for those children because their parents do not have the means, right? Their parents don't have smartphones. So, but with the one that the child that has a smartphone, we've been able to organize WhatsApp classes for her using WhatsApp videos. But then the other ones, the best we do now is just to call and check on them. And great news, last week we went to their communities to check on them and share some food relief. And then when we got there, we noticed that somebody has even started someone in the community that has been able to go to secondary school has now started a mini lesson for them where they pay 15 naira. And for me, I was really excited to see that because this is someone that's coming when when there's no like technology for them to learn online, because other schools have moved forward, other schools have switched to online because they already had the infrastructure. But it was great to see that the people in that community are already making most of it. So yes, so for us, what we do right now is just to check in to make sure that our kids and their families are fine, because the lockdown really affected them. They couldn't work, most of their jobs were, closed and they couldn't operate. But now that everything is easing out, right? So I'm sure that everything will fall back to normal. I should be able to kick up operations.
Do you think schools will be resuming anytime soon?
From what I've been hearing, I think that I really can't predict that because these are kids we're talking about. So if we want to take the risk, so that means there has to be safety precautions in place for these children, because if they contact it, is really high risk for them, right? Because their immune system is not so strong as adults, not as strong as adults. So, but if schools are going to resume, I think that there should be safety precautions, for these kids, so that it doesn't lead to what we what we shouldn't even talk about. So, yeah, but I think schools are going to resume very soon because the economy is opening up, things are opening up. From what I heard, some churches in Abuja are opened. Economies are already picking up. Presidents are already telling various sectors of the economies to open up. So from what I think that schools will resume anytime soon.
As regards education, its impact. What do you project as the future of education post COVID-19?
So post COVID, I think that we have to. So there are two things that I have been thinking about. First of all, is the fact that technology has stay, right? So during COVID like literally forced technology on us. So we have to adapt, and technology has literally come to stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even in the education space, technology has literally come to stay. So we have to get to a point where we now start to, pick up ourselves and then start to get to know more skills, right? Learn more skills, learn more ways you can solve problems using technological tools, right? In schools need to learn ways of doing automated grading systems. They need to learn ways to reach people even online, right? So we need to think beyond physical. So it has gotten to a point in education where the how great a school is not based on how beautiful or how big your building is, right? It's based on if you can communicate to the kids and then train them for the future rather than for the present or the past, which is what major schools have been doing. But it has gotten to a point where technology has now become the future of education. So any school that is not putting technology in place is going to be at a loss. So yeah, and another thing that is going to help the the education sector, from my own opinion, is collaboration. So like I said, when people come together, things move forward. So when we come together, we move forward. So the government can see how they can initiate public and private partnerships to make the technology work in government schools. Because I think that if governments partner with telcos, right, kids or children should be able to access, let's say a general website where they can learn things, and they should be able to access it online the way we can access Facebook if we do not put on our data, right? So I think that if governments partner with telcos, things will move forward. So basically the thing for education system is partnerships and technology. We need to see beyond ourselves. We need to look at the problem that needs to be solved rather than the glory that will come to ourselves. And I just want to add and close that if you keep on waiting for what people will say, or if you keep on waiting for people to endorse you before you start something, you will never do anything. Because if you start, they will hit you here. If you do this one, they will hit you here. If you do another one, they will hit you here. So just make sure that you're doing what you can do and then you're following your heart. So that's my final words.
Thank you so much, Aramide, and all the best with everything you're involved in. That is Talent Mind Academy, and all the best with your Harvard education. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.